everyone, and welcome to today's A to Z of Future Career Parent and Carer Talk series delivered by ISP Future Pathways. And we're very delighted to have Goran Jordanov. He's the Regional Director for Summit Education, and he will deliver a session covering H for hospitality and future careers in hospitality, one industry that cannot be replaced by a robot. He will deliver a session and then there will be a question and answer at the end. So Goran, please, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invite and I hope we'll have a lovely session together. I always love to speak about hospitality. It's my passion and you'll understand a little bit later why. But first I want to start with a few very interesting facts that I found as I was preparing for the session today. So looking into the future, I think the human realm and what we need to achieve is changing, and it's becoming more and more challenging to multitask to achieve your objectives. And the research is showing that companies who are using AI to improve their workflows and to manage better projects would boost productivity by up to 40%. According to a report by PricewaterhouseCoopers, AI could contribute to $15 trillion to the global economy. So on one side, we have these amazing innovations. We have a huge advancements created by this sphere of AI, of technology, of digital transformation. And at the same time, another report stated the following: despite the rise of artificial intelligence, human intuition, creativity, emotional intelligence would be vital to the success of organizations. 63% of executives in business today in a Deloitte study said that humans will continue to play a central role in decision-making. So I wanted to lay the ground of this conversation with these two very interesting reports and a small story from my early days in hospitality. You see, when I finished my university, I went to live in the US, in Atlanta, which was the biggest airport, continues to be the biggest airport by passenger traffic in the world. I had the pleasure to work in a beautiful five-star hotel, called the Hyatt, the Grand Hyatt in Atlanta. And back then we introduced these mind-blowing machines, you see, where you could scan your passport and they could give you the boarding pass, and you could do that in the hotel at the reception. And we installed the machines and we were shocked that despite the great time saving that people could do if they use the machine, only 20 to 30% of the people would use them. And later on in my career, I dig deeper into this topic of why people would not use the machine that would save them time. And it's very clear. On one side, they were afraid of the technology. Sometimes we'll get asked at the reception, so I will scan my passport, get the boarding pass. Would that be a real boarding pass that I could fly with? People are not comfortable getting a boarding pass when they are not at the airport. They were not trusting the technology. And then we had other people who just prefer to talk to a human being. If you think about it, you don't see this on the camera, but I'm quite tall. I'm almost 2 meters high. And when I go to the check-in counter at the airport, I put my big smile and I talk to the person there. Back then, 8 out of 10 times, I'll get an exit row seat. So in a way, we deeply believe as humans that we could get more out of talking to another human. We could evoke empathy, we could feel connected, and it just feels better as a human being to human being. So this is kind of laying the ground of where we are today and what I believe about how people feel about technology. Now, my story started in hospitality. I spent 6 years working with different five-star hotels, first in Switzerland, then in US, then I moved to Paris. I lived in France, then Dubai. But most importantly for me, I have spent 15 years working in education. And when you work in education, my ultimate goal is to make sure that a student is counseled to the best program that would make their career life fulfilling. And of course, as an educator at Cleon and La Roche and in my job, we think deeply about what the future would look like. We need to make sure that our students graduating would be able to have a successful career into the future. What are the skills that they need in the future? What are the mindsets, the technologies, all the aspects that would make their life better and that will make their life interesting and that will make them successful at work and in their personal lives. We are passionate about hospitality because it's an industry that I firmly believe has its foundation in human-to-human interactions, one at a time. So I want to introduce you to hospitality very briefly, and then we'll talk about what the future holds for this industry. So what is hospitality? The hospitality industry has what we call the traditional hospitality segment, which includes big hotels, restaurants, travel, events. And here we talk about large business operators. You look at a brand like Marriott. We know Marriott has more than 7,500 hotels around the world. So these are some examples of careers in the traditional hospitality. These are people who graduated from our programs. So you can work, of course, as a general manager in a hotel. You can work in food and beverage. You can work as an event manager. So these are the current jobs that people are taking in this industry. And if we look into a little bit further than traditional hospitality, we have something that we call international experience economy. So what we are noticing more and more is that people with hospitality background find themselves in jobs where experience, human interaction, personal important. And these are some positions, examples of what our graduates are doing today. So very often I get asked, well, what's the logic of somebody who studied hospitality to work in finance and investment, right? For somebody like Astrid in JP Morgan Chase. And I always reply, even in finance, you want to give your money, your finances to somebody that you trust. So this is what hospitality is all about, building relationships with people and creating memories for them. So in this context, we all wonder, how will AI, how will technology impact this industry that currently is very human? So let's talk a little bit about the trends and how the industry is pacing looking into the future. So one thing that is changing is that the hotel concept is developing and is becoming different. Hotels are moving away from these big, boring buildings. You know, you go and there is a long corridor of the same room over and over, you know, places where you just go to sleep. No, we're moving towards a vision where we want lifestyle brands. We want hotels that cater to our needs to socialize. We want places that cater to our needs for healthy living and well-being. We want places that cater to our needs in terms of business and efficiency. And here, millennials and Generation Y is kind of setting the pace for the new concepts that are being created. So looking into the future, I believe that the hotel concept would be changing, ever evolving. And if you cannot be distinctively different, you will die out as a business in the hospitality world. You need to create concepts that speak to a particular target audience. Marriott has more than 45 different brands, right? You have Marriott, you have Sheraton, you have W, you have Westin. Why does a company need 40, 50 brands? Because they have 40, 50 different types of customers, right? And so the future of hospitality takes us to a place of ultimate personalization and a place where the concept speaks to who you are and what you believe as a person. Sustainability also playing a big role. But moving beyond hotels, in a way, AI and what we see today is that we are moving from knowing a lot about many people to knowing the right information and doing meaningful things with it. So the future also holds job roles, job positions that will be about how do we take data and create meaningful experiences for individual people while respecting their privacy, of course. So these are key elements of what the future holds for hospitality, moving from big data to, as we call, smart data, and creating personalized offers. We have a rise of social media influencing the behavior of people. If you think about travel bloggers, if you think about Instagram, TikTok trends that are taking over the online environment by a storm, this is impacting how people behave. This is impacting how people consume. So I believe this would continue to grow. And a trend, very strong trend that we are seeing, is the development of these virtual AI influencers. We have influencers, Instagram pages, TikTok pages created by a company with a person looking account, but that person is a AI created or a digitally created persona. And there are some accounts that are followed by 2 million people, 3 million people. Imagine that a company holds the key to a digital persona that is followed by 3 million people. I believe that would make an impact and a change in the industry. And then when we dig deeper into the world of hospitality, we start thinking, how is it going to change in terms of automation, right? Can robots replace people? And the answer is yes. In many aspects, robots can replace human beings. If you think about the boring job, as I call it, of reception today, it's a simple transaction. You go to a reception, you give your credit card, and they give you a key, and they register you as a guest. Of course, knowing the capabilities of modern day technology, this can be automated in a second. We can have a robot welcoming you at the front desk, helping you book your sunbed by the beach, helping you make that reservation to a restaurant. I mean, AI bots can make phone calls on our behalf and book our hairdresser today. So this is taking over slowly the world of hospitality as well. Now, looking at another interesting technology are augmented reality, virtual reality experiences. Imagine being able to see your hotel room, being able to experience the neighborhood virtually, being able to find the hotel in augmented reality. These are things that are becoming mainstream for the hospitality industry. And I would like to give you two personal examples of mine. The first one on the left is an experience that I had with a beautiful hotel in Prague, where I had the pleasure to stay. And I decided to test them, being somebody curious about technology and how technology can be put into practice. So you see, when I arrived in the hotel, I received this message, "Can we help you with something?" on my WhatsApp. And I said, "Yes, good morning. I would like to have dry cleaning service." You cannot believe how quickly they were able to react. Between my message on WhatsApp, I received a knock on the door in my room in less than 10 minutes. I'd say 6, 7 minutes. Somebody came to pick up my shirts for dry cleaning. So it is impressive how quickly businesses are taking technology and seamlessly integrating that technology in their day-to-day work to create memorable and perfect customer experiences. And I believe this is part of the future. Then on the right-hand side, you see my experience with a chatbot called Maria. So what happened here is my flight with Austrian Airlines got canceled. And I received a message, your flight got canceled, here's a chatbot, they can help you. Clicked on the message. I tell you what, in 3 minutes, less than 5 minutes, 4 minutes, I was able to rebook my flight, get a confirmation on my email, and move on. If you think about the past, when our flight would get canceled, when we had to go to the airport, wait in line for hours, miss all possible connections, this is actually huge and positive advancement. Now we have the opportunity to talk to a chatbot and get things resolved quickly. But then the question becomes, are we going to completely phase out human beings? My answer is no. I believe we're still going to be there to create memories for people, to shape experiences, to connect and drive inspiration. I think this is the human advantage, as I call it. This is us talking to other humans, inspiring them with our behavior, solving complex problems, leading other people, creating memories, and being unique. I think this is something that is quite powerful for us as human beings. So the answer, do you think in the future hotels will be completely automated and managed by robots? My answer is absolutely not. There will be some. So when I look for efficiency, cost effectiveness, yes. But when I look for luxury, for experience, when I travel, let's say with my family for leisure, luxury products and in general, high-end products in hospitality will become extremely personal and extremely human-driven. That's what I believe, to be honest. And what I've done is I've done a little bit of research, and um, definitely we're looking into a future of ultimate personalization synergies. Now, I've taken the liberty to and ask AI, hey, what are the jobs that we expect to appear in hospitality? Here is what ChatGPT told me. Here are job offers from ChatGPT or job positions that don't exist currently in hospitality, but that would appear in the future. So experience designer, virtual concierge, emotion recognition manager, somebody who can check how you feel and help you and make personalized offers to you. A few more job offers: robotics operations coordinator, DNA experience curator, sleep experience scientist. When I was reading those, I got excited. I think the future of hospitality is exciting. And if I can summarize it in a quote, this would be what I would say. The key to success in hospitality is to automate the boring and humanize the exceptional. As one of our students says, Duarte, who is the general manager at the beautiful Mandarin Oriental in Prague. So with this quote, I leave you thinking about the future of hospitality and definitely a future that will not be replaced by robots. Thank you for listening. I hope I sparkled some interesting questions, food for thought, and hopefully a brighter future for the world of hospitality.
Fantastic, Goran. Thank you very much for your session just now. That was very, very interesting and indeed has sparked some interesting questions. Thinking about our parent community, Goran, what advice would you give parents and carers if they had a child, one, interested in hospitality industry, or two, interested in, you know, helping and serving people? What would be your advice?
Absolutely. So I believe hospitality is for people who are willing to help others. Ultimately, that's the foundation, right? When I talk to students, to candidates, I ask them, why do you think this would be a great job for you? And very often it is because they want to work with people. I always keep on telling my story about helping others succeed as a leader. And this was probably the most fulfilling part of my hospitality career. You know, you take people who come for a job of last resort, they start in a very basic job and then they grow and involve themselves and you see them grow, and this is fulfilling. Absolutely. So my advice to parents would be give your children a chance to experience and to talk to other professionals. If you look at the world today, nobody's going to say no to you if you want to go and speak to a general manager of a five-star hotel. Just ask to be introduced, find a contact on LinkedIn as a parent, and get them to speak to your child as an interview, right? Help them prepare the questions for that interview. What does a day in your life looks like? What a global career looks like? And then what we do at Glion and La Roche and many other schools do that. We have these experiential summer camps where you can come for like a week and try it out, be a student for a week to see how you feel about that. But fundamentally, it's an industry where you work with people. and where you need to be curious about people, definitely.
Oh, okay, and you've used the word curious quite a few times during your presentation. And at ISP, we want to encourage all our students to be curious, to explore, and to obviously reach their destinations of choice. I started in the hospitality industry when I was 14, working in a local cafe. And it has really provided me with a very customer-centric kind of skill set and mindset. In 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, when parents of students listening to this session today might have their children going into careers or looking at part-time work, what will the skill set look like? What kind of qualities and skills do you foresee, the hospitality industry
Mhm.
requiring in the future?
So to comment on the first part of your question, I would say that we see soft skills as something equally important to hard skills today, as an educator. So the environment in which students study is extremely important. Being exposed to different cultures, being exposed to different challenges, working with others. And what we notice is hospitality is like a university by itself. You said it yourself. You worked in this industry, it creates this customer-centric mindset. And we notice a lot of our alumni would end up in many other businesses just because they have developed this customer mindset in hospitality. So you study that, you work in this industry 4 or 5 years. Many other businesses would love to take you on because of that skill set mindset that you have developed. Now, looking into the future, the kind of skills that you need, I believe we will need to acquire certain level of technical skills, right? Technology would evolve. We cannot be ignorant. We need to learn. We need to understand it from the perspective of a leader, right? You don't necessarily need to be coding. You don't need to be writing prompts for ChatGPT, but you need to understand what it means for a business. And then, of course, having the soft skills to put people together to a task, to a vision, and get them inspired by that vision with their individual, maybe technical or whatever skill set. So I believe it is the skill of collaboration, communication, emotional intelligence. These things would be very, very important in parallel to hard skills, understanding the business and understanding the digital transformation.
Um, Thank you. I also liked your example of, chatbots and WhatsApps. I have traveled with my work for many years. And the biggest challenge I find in hotels is communicating from one side of the hotel to the other. Dry cleaning, food, your key's not working, blah, blah. So I loved your comparison or your observation about efficiencies being improved by technologies. Would you suggest that, children looking at hospitality in the future will need to study different types of programs in the future in order to be part of the hospitality industry? Or do you think it's going to be, similar to what's on offer now?
No, I think we need to evolve. I mean, as educators, you look at Leon and LaRoche, our programs change on a yearly basis. We need to adapt what we teach the students so they are relevant in the future. So there are some values, skill sets, like we talked about, that would be fundamental. They will not change. But some of the technical skills that students need to acquire would definitely change. I believe technology would give us such uh, push in efficiency and effectiveness that you cannot ignore it. So it will become part of the study process. And I believe technology needs to also lead to personalization. And I'll give you another example, going back to my stay at the same hotel. I went for breakfast and asked for a cappuccino. Okay. And they offered me a cappuccino with 11 different types of milk. Said, do you want, oat milk? I don't know, There were so many different types. I said, no, I need the milk from the cow. Okay, would you like 4%, 2%, 0%, lactose free? So it's ultimate explosion of choice in today's society. So the question is, how can technology make that choice personal so that they don't need to ask me every time which one of the 12 types of milk I want? Okay. So I believe that will be very, this is where we need the young people and their perspective. They have grown up in this world of technology, of advancement. So they're very natural with it. And I think with a little bit of push from us as an educator, they can really drive things forward.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Another question I notice when I order a coffee, especially in the US, is whether I want my coffee hot or cold, which always catches me by surprise. And it's, that's the evolution of food and consumerism, isn't it? And the future of that, basically. Very, very interesting. In terms of conclusions and summaries, we're delighted to have you on the Parent Series talks for ISP. So thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us. Do you have any final food for thought for our parents and carers, and a message maybe to the students considering hospitality and their career in the future?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you once again for the invite. It was really a pleasure. I always share this story about the Wright brothers who invented the airplane, right? I mean, if you think about it today, it is totally logical. Nobody would risk their lives every day for a vision of this flying machine, right? And I believe us as humans have this amazing capacity to dream and go beyond what's imaginable in pursuing our dreams. And I believe this is a unique skill that we need to keep chasing. So my advice maybe is to keep that human authenticity as you go in life. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, to have a vision of where things need to be and how they need to be. I think that makes you human. Don't be afraid, of course, with the mistakes. They will crush every day for months and years before they figure it out. So that's a normal process. And I believe what hospitality gives us is a platform where very early in our lives, we can learn how to lead others, how to face real business challenges. And very few industries would give you that opportunity. My personal example is that at the age of 19, I had to manage a team of 25 people. So I believe hospitality is a great playground to learn and develop yourself, even if you want to just be in the world of business in general. So maybe that's my two advice. Keep dreaming and see hospitality as a great tool for you to develop yourself as a person and in the global business world.
But fantastic. Thank you very much, Goran. That was very, very interesting and fantastic food for thought there for parents and carers looking to support their child into the hospitality industry and understanding the careers of the future in relation to the industry as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invite. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.